You can sometimes only do 2 or sometimes only do 3. Or if you're the kind of player who likes playing super strategic and knowing the setup completely or knowing everything, you can do them all. They will give you all kinds of hints about the best way to accomplish your mission. There's also citizens that need to be saved throughout the city, and we really wanted to create this atmosphere of the medieval warfare and the violence and the population suffering because of war. And so as we walk through the city, the guards are picking on civilians, and if you're that kind of person who wants to help the people out, you can save the citizens, and they will then help you out. And the rewards that you get is kind of like either their friends become your friends, and you can use those guys in gameplay a lot of. You don't have to do all missions, there's 5 missions, all the usual sandbox stuff. But we've even taken the approach further in terms of each mission can be accomplished with your own style. So, for example, that was kind of what we just did with the classic assassination path where you stay more stealthy. And if that's the way you like to play and you manage to, and I think that's an interesting challenge, I'm going to try and play the whole game like this, try and take out all of the guys without ever getting the guard alert up. But you can equally also go into each mission and do an all-out battle and even run away. And in some cases, if they are courageous targets, because the ones who are cowards, you have to chase after them the minute they run. But the ones who are courageous, actually this guy, if we didn't accomplish our mission and we were feeling like we're being overtaken, we could have run out of that fortress and he would have actually run after us. So the emphasis is really on your own creativity, and I think that's the big difference. When people get the controllers, they're like, okay, what's the right way? What's the right path? And really it's about you creating your own path and finding some new strategy. So, I mean, my definition of the best way to play is that you can come tell me, later, I figured out this new way to play that, developers that you guys never even thought of, and I think that would be really cool. Yes? So the question is, we've spent almost 4 years developing Assassin's Creed. Did we manage to incorporate all of our ideas, or did some of them not quite make it? So the answer is, in game development, you always have way more ideas than you ever get to make. And the other thing is we were really lucky working on this game because we got to create a brand new franchise from scratch. And you don't often get to do that in games, right? So the whole team, we consider ourselves really lucky. And we've all worked on games where, the first game was made, and then the bosses say, okay, great, make a second one. You had no plan at all. And then you go, okay, right, well, the war is over, and the story is done, and my character is... So when we started Assassin's Creed, we thought, let's plan this in advance. Let's think of what the franchise would be, and let's think of ideas and how this game could evolve. And so there's a lot of stuff, maybe this question would come up if I asked everyone. There's a lot of stuff we're not talking about. And that's all part of the meta story surrounding it. And actually, when we were planning Assassin's Creed, we thought of, not only how the story would evolve, but some of the features and stuff like that. But on the interesting side, also, another part of game development at the beginning is you make something that we call fake game footage. And this is usually, before you have the technology, before you have the gameplay, the team makes a video, like a little movie of what we want the gameplay to feel like. And we made a movie, which I don't think I have here today, unfortunately, otherwise I'd show it to you guys. But we made a movie that had our vision for Assassins in it. And what's interesting is, when you look at that video now, all of the gameplay that we had in that video is actually in the game, and the game actually looks better. So, which hardly ever happens, actually. Usually you make this video and you think, oh, you make it as amazing as possible, and you never end up reaching that. So I think the team can be pretty proud. Anyways, I'm proud of the work that they've done with the team. Yeah? Yeah, so the question is, are the voices in the game going to be translated into all languages? And yes, they already are, and it's already done. We announced that we were going to look, I think, yesterday, and all of the localization is done. And in fact, I'm currently here in London, but I did also, I was in Madrid yesterday, and I was in Italy, and we were playing in Italy, we were playing the Italian version, and we were playing the Spanish version, so they're all done, and all dubbed, so you can play in your language. What I've heard, I don't understand all these languages, but I've heard they're pretty good. Yeah. Okay, so the question is, there's a lot of replay value, why don't we have online? And the honest answer is that we would love to do it, but it's a lot of work. And we created a brand new engine from scratch, as well as brand new tools from scratch, and we also really pushed new types of gameplay, like getting 120 different AI crowd on screen at once, having these huge cities where you can go absolutely everywhere, having that kind of movement capability. As we also added online, it was made us lose focus on the new types of gameplay, so we chose to focus on delivering a really good single-player experience, and then what we're hoping is maybe if hopefully the first successful, we'll get to do that and follow up. There's hands waving way in the back here. Just two hands waving, yes? Will there be any downloadable content? That's the question. There's nothing announced yet, but it is a possibility. Yes. I didn't hear that.
Are there multiple endings?
Oh, multiple endings.
Is that what I know?
That's a great question. That's a great question. This is related to the stuff that we're not talking about. So I can't answer that question. And this would work that well for the back if you want to know. Yeah.
But is the game going to run and look because you're on all platforms?
Is the game going to look as good on all platforms? Yeah, actually, we've been showing both the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 version during our tour today. We have all Xbox versions, so unfortunately I can't really compare right now, but yes, it looks the same. Yes? Okay, so the question is, the main assassination mission, are there other optional missions or side missions where you can increase your standing with the population? And yes, there are several things that are optional actually. One of the, so we haven't shown the gameplay for investigation, but there's a lot of gameplay that's not related to the assassination that you need to do before starting your mission. So part of getting ready for the mission is finding out where your target is, is he guarded, is he not, what's the setup, what's my good strategy. And you can do this by doing pickpocketing, so there's some pickpocket gameplay. You can eavesdrop on the crowd. There's certain assassins who are stationed in each city who have information, and if you do kind of side missions for them, they'll give you the info. There's also guided tour, like, part of the, I guess, one of the prosecutors, the targets, and if you beat them up, they'll tell you some stuff. So there's all this gameplay around investigation. Each target that you have has a total of 6 hints about how you can attack him.